welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and today we've got a puzzle called Tea Time for you by Eric Rathbun. Now you can see, I think I know why it's called Tea Time. There are some teas in the grid, some numberless teas. So we'll have a go at this in a minute. I have to tell you, I'm doing this with trepidation, as this has decimated the testers. Basically, none of them was able to do it. But they tell me that it is worth having a go at. So I trust them and will do that momentarily. And we will see how it goes. Now, I have a few things to mention today. I'll start with a hearty congratulations to Lana Meeks. Now, Lana, I think you've just turned 10 years old. And, I mean, this is astonishing to me. Lana has just turned 10. And her favourite videos are those about Phistomefel and tall cat puzzles. Which is just incredible. 10 years old, and you can, follow and do the logic of puzzles of that complexity. It is astonishing, the cleverness of our viewers. Now, the next thing I want to read to you is something we received last night, which, to be honest, it blew me rather away, and I'm going to struggle to read this and not be emotional. So bear with me if I have to pause, but the email was from Hanna. It says, "Hi son, my name is Hanna. I'm from Ukraine. From the very beginning of the war, you saved my mental health, and I want to thank you. For 2 months, I was sitting in the basement of a bomb shelter, feeling frightened, cold, and desperate. And the only thing that was helping to get through these long hours of air raid alert, which was happening 5 times a day, was watching your video. I like sudoku. I've been solving them since I was a child and have been subscribed to your channel for a couple of years, but I left sudoku because of a lack of time and routine. I was so shocked and broken from the reality around me that the only moment I felt relief was counting from 1 to 9. That was the aha moment on the 25th of February, the second day of the Russian invasion. I watched dozens of videos on your channel and solved another dozen after them, and it gave me a feeling of connection with normality. I just wanted to thank you, and please keep going. I suppose you never thought that a skyscraper sudoku technique video will give someone hope and a reason to resist this disaster. You gave it to me." So, that we get a lot of incredible emails on this channel. That one I think speaks for itself. Hanna, we wish you all the very best. We hope that very soon this invasion will be but a bad memory, and you take care of yourself, and that these videos provide any comfort for people in these situations is profoundly humbling to us, and we're extremely, I suppose, grateful that you've let us know that they've provided you with some comfort. And I hope that every viewer watching this video will empathise and sympathise with what you're going through. So there we are, a letter from Ukraine. I don't really know what to say now. It feels a bit silly to go back to sudoku, but let's try and do that and take our minds off it. That's, I think, one of the great things about these puzzles, is that we can get lost in them for a few minutes. And I've likened it to skiing in the past. When I go skiing, I have to sort of concentrate to avoid falling off the mountain. And sudoku is a bit like that. We can find a bit of cathartic space for our brains to just get lost in something outside the everyday world. And for some people, that is obviously an incredibly valuable thing. So let's look at Tea Time by Eric, and here are the rules. Normal sudoku rules apply. Digits along an arrow must sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. Digits cannot repeat within a cage. Okay, so that's normal killer rules, but without a total. Cells separated by a white dot must contain consecutive digits, and cells separated by a black dot must contain digits in the ratio of 1 to 2. So let's just pause there and check everyone understands what that means. So these two cells are separated by a white dot. So if this was a 1, this would have to be a 2, because it needs to be consecutive with 1. If we didn't know that this was a 1 and this was a 2, this could be a 1 or a 3. That's how consecutive things work. Now the black dot here, basically this thing about ratios of 1 to 2, Some people get confused about that, but all we're saying here is that one of the digits is double the other one. So if that was a 6, this would have to be a 3, because if we tried to put 12 in here, we will get the puzzle wrong. Don't do that. Not all possible dots are given. All that's saying is it's perfectly possible for these two digits to be consecutive, or these two digits to be in the ratio of 1 to 2. There doesn't have to be a dot between cells that share those properties. It's just that we know that these specific dominoes do have those properties. So do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. And now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, I will start by saying that I'm not surprised remotely that this has given the testers a problem, because there, at first blush to me here, there doesn't look to be anything to get your teeth into. They're all 2-cell arrows. There are not sure. Are there enough dots for us to do anything? There's a... Right. Okay, I can tell you something about this circle here. Because this is summing consecutive digits, one of these digits will be odd and the other must be even. So this must be an odd total, and it's not a 5, and it's not a 1 because we can't put 2 digits in there that will sum to 1. So this cell here is 3, 7, or 9. But whoa, no. I mean, well, as far as I'm seeing at first blush, none of these other arrows is remotely doing anything. So, and I don't think the sort of syzygies we've got here are going to be useful. And when I say a syzygy, we've got sort of an alignment of planets in row 9, row 1, column 9, and column 1. But the arrows leading off our planets are not, they're just not long enough or aligned enough. So yes, I could look at these 4 digits as a sequence. Well, orange is a dreadful colour to have chosen. I'll choose blue. And I therefore know, because I know all of these digits are different, the minimum sum of the blue digits in column 8 would be 10, because 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 would be 10. The minimum sum of those 2 cells in column 7 would be another 1 and a 2. So I know the total sum of the blue and the purple digits is a minimum of 13. And 13 there is the minimum sum of the syzygy of planets. But 13 in 3 digits is not even remotely restricted. I mean, we could have a 9 and a 1. A 9, a 1 and a 3, for example. So the fact that no digit here can be eliminated from any of the circles is unfortunately bad. It's definitely bad. And you can see that however we try and create our syzygies, if we sum these up, the symmetry is actually the symmetry is acute, isn't it? It's rotational symmetry, and it is acute. Yeah, this is very odd. Very, very odd. So normally in this situation where I literally can see nothing and I'm deeply suspicious that I'm suspicious about the lack of information, we need to be looking at some sort of geometry trick. Sorry, I might get interrupted today with it being Sunday. There are children around. So in terms of geometry tricks, normally with arrow puzzles, the trick is to try and put cells in the circles into a different set of digits from the cells along the arrows. So let's try and do that in the most obvious way we can. Let's highlight the perimeter of the grid in yellow. And okay, that's going to be double counting the corners. I'll explain what I'm doing in a moment if I see this as being in any way interesting. In fact, let's do this slowly. Right, so what I'm doing here is I'm looking at these yellow cells, and I know exactly what's in the yellow cells, because if we just look at row 1 in isolation, that must be a set of the digits 1 to 9, because in the complete correct Sudoku solution to this puzzle, we will see the digits 1 to 9 in row 1, we will see the digits 1 to 9 in row 9. We will see the digits 1 to 9 in column 1, and we will see the digits 1 to 9 in column 9. So altogether, that's 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9, and that's why I've slightly flashed the corner digits, because of course in row 1 you will find this digit, but in column 1 you will also find this digit. So this digit is sort of in both row 1 and column 1, therefore needs to be double counted. So in accounting for 36 digits here, saying this is 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9, well, there are actually only 32 digits highlighted, so I have to double count the corners to get to the 36. Now, if I know that the yellows, and including the yellows in the corners twice, are 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9, I now want to define arrow cells, or as many arrow cells as I can, in a different set of digits. So I'm looking at, I think it's going to be the 4 corners, isn't it? So if I put these, I'll highlight those cells there in blue. Now obviously box 1, if we look at the correct solution to this puzzle, we will find that box 1 contains 1 set of the digits 1 to 9. So the blue cells I've just highlighted are 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9, i.e. they are identical to the yellow digits. So imagine, sometimes this helps people to envisage this, imagine that you've put all of the yellow digits in a Scrabble bag of yellow tiles, and you've got all of the blue digits in a Scrabble bag of blue tiles. Then we know that the bags at the moment, they contain the same things. And if I go and hunt for whatever this digit happens to be in the finished solution, and I find it in my yellow bag, and I find it in my blue bag, and I throw it out of both bags, then, because the bags had the same thing in before I threw the same thing out of both bags, they must still have the same thing in. There'll just be 35 tiles in both now, but they'll still have the same thing in them. So this is what we need to do. We need to throw away these common digits, if you like, the ones that have both yellow and blue in them. Now let's just think quickly about the corner. The corner was double yellow and single blue. So if I throw it, in other words, it appeared twice in the yellow bag and once in the blue bag. So I can get rid of it once from the blue bag and once from the yellow bag, but it will be left in the yellow bag once more. In other words, the corners turn into a single colour of yellow. So now I've achieved my initial objective, which I've managed to get the arrows emanating from the yellow circles, into a different set of digits from, well, I've got them into a different colour. Now, what this allows me to do, so at this moment, if we were to pause and examine the contents of both bags, we would find we had 16 in the blue and 16 in the yellow, and they would be the same digits by the logic we've done. Therefore, as they contain the same digits, if we add them up, if we added up all the digits in yellow and all the digits in blue, we would get the same number. So we don't know what that number is, but we would get the same number. Now, because of the rules of arrow sudoku, these two digits, whatever they add up to, is the same as that. So if I remove these two from my blue set and that from my yellow set, I can say at this point, what's left in the blue still adds up to the same thing as what's left in the yellow. Obviously, what the totals of my Scrabble bag, total number of tiles in my Scrabble bag, is now different because I took 2 blue digits out and only 1 yellow. But I know the total of what remains in each Scrabble bag is the same. I can do the same here, I can do the same here, and I can do the same here. And this is where we get to from our geometry trickery. And this does not look propitious at all. So, right, so at this point we know that 8 blue digits, which don't really see each other in any very, very pleasant way, these 8 blue digits add up to the same as the 12 yellow digits, which implies the blue digits are slightly higher on average than the yellow digits. Right, what we could do is, so let's imagine we took this tile out of the yellow bag. Let's say that was a 6, for example. obviously these two digits add up to 6 because of the arrow. So I could take that one out and replace it with these two, and it would still be true to so, and we'd still have the same total in yellow. So I'm going to do that now. That removes from yellow, remove that one from the yellow bag, replace it by that one which had the same, those two which have the same total, do the same here. And you can see all I'm doing here is basically doodling on a Sudoku grid. I've got no clue where this is going. I'm just trying to find something which is useful. Now this is a bit more interesting because now I've managed to align some of these yellows in the same rows of the grid or the same columns of the grid. Yeah, okay, so now if we take the yellows in total and try and minimize them, we could put 1, 2, 3, 4 there, we could put 1, 2, 3, 4 there, we could put 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So we've got 4 lots of 10, haven't we? 40. So the minimum sum of the blue digits, there are 8 blue digits, is 40, which means they average at least 5. Yeah, that is not enough, is it? If we got to the fact that they averaged 8, that would be very interesting. But averaging 5, I don't think is. Oh, good grief. Right, sorry. I think that I've led you on up the garden path here. I did not mean... right, okay, let's try something else. This is not, well, this is not what I was hoping for. So what have I not understood about this? It must be to do with the T's. So the T's are, it's called tea time, and the T's don't have repeated digits in. So whatever goes in that cell, it's horrible though, it's horrible. Whatever goes in that cell is eliminated from those two cells by the logic of the can't repeat in a cage logic. But we know nothing else about where orange goes in box 1. I don't think. Maybe it's more sensible to look at that digit. So that digit, where does that go in box 1? Well, it can't go in that row by Sudoku. It can't go in these two squares because it would repeat in the cage. So this digit has to go in one of 4 places. This is absolutely baffling. What is going on? That's not... I'm sorry, by the way. I know that some of you will be getting cross with me for not seeing something obvious here, but this is not at all clear. Why have we got a given 5 in the grid? That suggests this 5 is trying to look at these, isn't it, and say these can't be 5. Why? Apart from if it's something to do with this not being a 5. I mean, if this was 3, 1, 2, I mean, this is awful. I mean, this could be 7, it could be 9, these digits could be, well, they have to be consecutive. Okay, right, so I suppose this is either, this domino has either got 1, 2 in it, if this is a 3, or 3, 4 in it, if this is a 7, or 4, 5 in it, if this is a 9. So these digits are quite low. Oh dear. Oh, the worst thing about this is I'm going to have to read out Hannah's email again once I've abandoned this video and tried another puzzle without crying. Oh gosh. Oh, come on. Is this something? don't think I can do anything further with the yellows and the blues. It just doesn't look. It doesn't look pleasant at all, does it? And the only things that are aligning in terms of the yellows and the blues are almost in the wrong colours, in the sense that what I sort of feel I want to do is to make this row blue, for example, because then I could cancel out the maximum number of yellows. But if I do that, if I make these blue, I don't know what I should highlight yellow to sort of make up for that. I would get a lot of T's in blue actually if I did this. Although I think these cells would be double counted. I was just going to look at this for a sec. So what have we got at the moment? We've got the yellow. We've got what's left in our yellow bag. I don't know how many cells that is. 16. Those 16 cells in yellow, 16 tiles in the yellow bag, add up to the same number as the 8 tiles that we've got left in the blue bag. So what I'm going to do is try and map onto the T's by, I'm going to add into my blue bag a set of the digits 1 to 9. So I'm going to have a tile with 1 on it, a tile with a 2 on it, a tile with a 3 on it. I'm going to lump those 9 digits into my blue bag. And I'm going to now I've got a mismatch between the totals in my 2 bags. And the mismatch we've got is something to do with the secret. Now the secret is something I only tell my favourite people, but if you're watching this video still and you're bearing with me, then you're definitely one of my favourite people. And the secret is that any complete row of a Sudoku, indeed any complete column or any complete box, contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. And the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. So in Sudoku land, 45 is the secret. Now, if I add a set of the digits 1 to 9 to my blue bag, so before we added that set, the yellow tiles and the blue tiles added up to the same number. Now by adding a whole set of the digits 1 to 9 to the blue bag, there is a mismatch. The blue bag is 45 more than the yellow bag. So what I want to do is to try and get these T's all turned blue. So I'm going to add all of those to blue. That's another set in blue. All of these to blue. Now in adding this set to blue, you can see I've got to make sure I realise that those 2 cells there are now in blue twice. Same thing, I'm going to add those to blue. These are in blue twice. So now my blue bag weighs 180 more than my yellow bag, but I can throw away some tiles out of yellow. All of the tiles that have 2 colours, we can remove these from yellow and the yellow and the blue bag, and now I've totally eliminated my yellow. So there's no tiles at all left in my yellow bag. It is empty. And my blue bag adds up to 180, bearing in mind that these digits here are in the blue bag twice. So now I almost want to add this to yellow again. Right, I've done it. I think I've done it. I have done it. Yes. Right. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm certain there's a cleverer way of doing what I've done here, but this way is beautiful. So my blue bag, which has a lot of tiles in it now, and my empty yellow bag, my blue bag sums to 180. Now imagine I now go off and I fill my yellow bag with all of the... In fact, I'm tempted to only fill it with those. Is that going to make it a clearer explanation? Yeah. Yes. Okay, hopefully this will be clear. Now, what is the value of those cells, those 8 cells in box 5? By the secret, those add up to 40. Because it must be 45 for the whole box minus the 5 in the middle. So these add up to 40. So if I scrabble around in my blue bag and I remove all of these cells and I remove one of these, one of these, one of these and one of these, so these become just single blue. So I throw these out of blue and I find there's 2 of these in the blue bag. I get rid of one of them, so it just loses its flash. Get rid of one of these and one of these. I've just removed 40's worth of digits from my blue bag, which before I did that had 180's worth of digits in it. So now what's left in my blue bag is worth 140. And now we have an amazing thing, because what is the most I could make 5 different digits in this T add up to? Well, it would be 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, which add up to 35. And if I do the same here, that's another 35, 35 and 35. 4 lots of 35 is 140. So it must be, we have proved by using baggage and emptying our yellow bag and putting the most we can in our blue bag, that these blue cells are all maxed out. So this is 5, 6, 7s, 8s and 9s all over the place, like this. And now these are not 5, because 5's already in the middle box, so this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. I'm crying for a different reason now. And now I sort of believe it might be possible to solve the puzzle. Let me think. That digit must be difficult. Yeah, that digit's on a black dot, so it has to be a digit that's capable of being in a 1 to 2 relationship with another sudoku digit. So from the white dot, you can see this has to be 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, because it must be consecutive with this digit. But you can't put 5, 7 or 9 on a black dot, because obviously if you try and put 5 here, you've got to put 2.5 or 10 here. You put 7 here, 3.5 or 14. 9 here, 4.5 or 18. None of those work. So this is now 6 or 8. There is a quadruple in this row on 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. This digit has to be 3 or 4 by black dottage. This circle now has to be at least equal to 7, because if I make this minimal, I'd still get to 7 on the dot. So that's 7, 8 or 9. And so this black dot can't have 5, 7 or 9 on it either. So this is a 3 or a 4. And now, okay. So I've just noticed I've got a quintuple here on 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So these squares have to be 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. These squares have to be 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. This can't be 4 because it's adding on to at least 6. So this is 1, 2 or 3. And oh, come on. Right, okay, this is a 6 or an 8, so this must be odd. So this is a 7 or a 9. Yeah, okay. So now I want to look at this white dot, because there's many things you can say about a white dot, but one thing you can say about it is it must have an even digit on it. Now, what even digit is in this white dot? Well, it must be a 6 or an 8, because the only options are 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, and 5, 7 and 9 are odd. So there is a 6 or an 8 in this little thing here. Oh, No, this is much simpler. But, well, it probably is simpler. The sensible question is, where does 5 go in this string? It must be on this dot, so this must be a 5, 6 pair. Sorry, that was much easier than what I was about to do, which was to argue that there was a virtual 6, 8 pair. But you know me. Never do anything easy if you can find a complicated way to do it. So now I've got a 5, 6 pair here, which means this is an 8, and that is beautiful. That's 1, that's 9. 9 comes out of here. This square is not 8 anymore. There's a 7, 9 pair in box 5, so these two squares are a 6, 8 pair. This, oh, yeah, look, this 8 sees all sorts of things, especially in the bottom left T. It sees 4 of the cells. So none of those can be 8, which means that must be 8, which means this must be 6, which removes 6 from all of these squares. 8 comes out of these squares. Oh, where does 8 go in the top left T? It must go here on the black dot, which makes this a 4, which means that we can say this cell in this circle cell is 5, 6, or 7 now, because it's whatever, it's 4 being added to 1, 2, or 3. Okay. Now, what next? There must be an 8. Oh, where does it... Yeah, okay, we just keep chasing the 8s around the T's. Where does 8 go in this T? It's got to go on the white dot at the top, which means this square must be a 7 or a 9, because it has to be consecutive with 8. So we've now got... beautiful. Right, so now I've got another quintuple here, in this column. And so this digit has to be a 5 or a 6, and can't be a 6 because there's a 6. Oh, this is so clever. So this is 5, this is 5, this is 6. 5 comes out of all these cells. 5 comes out of this cell, because the rest of this column must be 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple in row 5. So that can't be 3 anymore. Oh, so this, right, this is done. We worked out this was odd and it can't be 9, so that's 7. Which means this has to be a 3, 4 pair. Oh, I mean, the way this is unfolding is just gorgeous. I mean, this is one of these puzzles that if you think you're going to make a greatest hits of cracking the cryptic, this is just straight in there, isn't it? It's just absolutely beautiful. Now 6 comes out of here, so this is 5, 7, so 5 and 7 come out of here, and we get a 6, 9 pair. So 6 and 9 come out of here, and we get a 5, 7. Now, what do we need in this row? We need, oh, look, yeah, where this digit is a 1 or a 2, and there's a 1 in the box. So that's a 2, that's a 1. 1 comes out of all of those cells. We've got a, oh, I see, 1 goes here by sudoku. 1 and 2 come out of here. We pause while we take stock and try and work out what's going on. Oh, I tell you something easy that's going on is that there is a black dot here. So that's a 4, that's a 3, that's not a 4. Yeah, can't see what to do with that. Right, 3 comes out of here. 3 comes out of here. 4 comes out of both of those. So that is a 4. And again, we sort of pause while we try and work out what this all means. Can we... I don't know what to do. Oh, please don't get stuck. We might have to do Sudoku of all things a bit at some point. I am prepared to do that. I know it seems like I'm sullying myself a little, but I will do it if needs must. Oh, 9 in that box is just there by sudoku. That's great, because I've got a 2-3 pair here. I was wondering about that. So this has got to be a 2-3 pair. So now, yes, I suppose one thing we can say is, where does 1 go in this box? It has to be in one of 2 cells, which means 1 must be at the very bottom of this column. So this is no longer a 1. There's no 1 on this arrow. So this is a minimum of 2, 3. So this is at least a 5. So this is 5, 7 or 8. Can't be 6 or 9. Okay. Don't know. Oh, and this, right, so that can't be 5 anymore because we can't put 1 on this arrow. So that's 6 or 7. And, okay. Where does 8 go in box 2? Well, there seems to have to be an 8 in this domino because of this 7, 8, 9 triple. There's an 8 here, there's an 8 here, and there's an 8 here. So there are in fact 4 8s looking at this box. And whenever you get 4 of the same digit looking at a Sudoku box, you can always place that digit. Here it has to go there. So now, right, so now what's on this arrow? And the answer is 3, 5, because it can't be 2, 6. There's a 7 in one of those 3 cells, so it can't be 1, 7. So the only option left is 3 and 5, which gives us a 2 here and a 3 here. Now this column now needs 1s and 4. Ones. Where does 1 go in this column? It's got to go there, which means that's a 4 by Sudoku. No, okay, that was nearly good. 4 in the top box has to go there by Sudoku. And I really want to know what that digit is actually, because that will give me a triple in this column and it will tell me what these 3 digits are. Oh, I suppose, right, okay, we can do this slowly. There's a 5 in one of those, so there's not a 5 in one of these. That does give me a 6, 7, 9 triple, so I get at this the other way round. That is now a 5, that's a 7, that's a 5. These 3 digits are 1, 2 and something. 1, 2 and 5 maybe? And the bottom one is not a 1, so there is a 1 on this arrow, along with either a 2 or a 5. So the totals that are possible in this thing are 3 and 6 only. And unfortunately, that seems to be all possible. Okay. Alright, let's look at the digits that are on this arrow then, because we've got to put 2, 3 and 7 at the bottom of this column. 5 is possible with 2, 3. 7 is not possible. Can't make 7 up, so we can take 7 out. Can't make 8 up. Can't make 8 up either, so this is 5. And now that must have a 2, 3 on its arrow with a 7 beneath it. And so these squares here are 4 and something, 4 and 8. And that means we can ask where 8 goes in the bottom row, and the answer to that is only here. Because of this 8. Now this can't be 4, can't double 4 this arrow, this can't be 3 because I can't put 5 here because of this 5. So this is 6 or 7. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. That's not 8 anymore. I'm sure this is all resolved somehow. I can't see how to do it. Okay, so up here we need 1s, 6s and 7s to complete box 1. Which is interesting, but it's not quite good enough, is it? This 5 is giving me a 2 there. Which is how I see. So that's giving me a 6 in this circle, a 3 here, and therefore this digit is a 9. Which means that digit is a 7, and that digit is a 6. And now I can take 7 out of here, which makes this digit a 7, this digit a 9, this digit not a 9 anymore. Has this broken the back of it? 7 in box 8 must go here. 3 must go here. 3 and 2 get resolved. 5 does the 5 and the 1. This has to add up, so that's got to be a 2. 1 has to go here in the box. That has to be a 4. That's getting with a 4 and 8. 8, 9, 9, 6. And this 3 is doing the 3 and the 4. That's got to be a 7 by Sudoku. That's giving me a 6 in the corner. That gets a 2 and a 3 done. 5 does the 5 and the 3 over here. That's a 9. So this is a 6, 7 pair, which is not resolved. These two squares have got to be a, oh no, 9 and something. 9 and 2. Okay, that's fine. So we can do that. 2, 9. Okay, so it's all going to be about this final arrow. Look, let's see what we can tell about that. These two digits are 5 and 2. Well, I can't put 2 in the corner. So that's 5, that's 2, which means this is a 1, 4 arrow because it can't be a 2, 3 arrow. So this is not 1 anymore. So, oh, I see. So this is all resolved. 7, 1, 7, 6, and finally 3 and 6. I'm just checking. It does look right, actually. Yes, I did it. Wow, that is absolutely mesmerizing. I want to know what the way is of working out this without doing that ludicrous amount of geometry. I mean, how many Scrabble tiles were we muddling around with there? That was a lot. I was really clever as well because it just didn't look like... Well, I stopped using set. I didn't see how it was going to work. But you can actually isolate the values of the t's in this puzzle. There is something purely magical about that. It is amazing. What a find, Eric. What a find. Oh, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you had a go. I'd love to know how many of you solved it and how you solved it. Yeah, well, we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.